own life. I don't know how God is using it in the life of others. So, but when the enemy comes to tell you like that, oh, you are inadequate, you are useless, what you are doing doesn't measure. And you buy the
All right.
lie.
Thank
You're
you.
back
Thank you
to
very much.
host. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to sign out. Thank you.
All right.
All right, God,
Good evening again, all participants. A few housekeeping rules. If you're not speaking, keep your microphone on mute. If you're not speaking, keep your microphone on mute. The second housekeeping rule is use the reactions tab of the um, Zoom screen. The reactions tab is the one that has the heart. If you want to raise your hand, use that to raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you and you can make your input. And then lastly, use the chat box as often as you wish, either to present questions as the presentation and the lecture is going along so that we can collate those questions at the end of the lecture and you can get an appropriate response from your facilitator stroke mentor. Thank you. Please stand by. Right. Good evening, Bolanle, Mentor Bolanle. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening, Mentor Albert. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. So I'm going to make you co-host so that you have control over the course and you can project your presentation. Just stand by, please.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, you're co-host now. Do you want to try and see whether you can pull up your presentation, and then I'll go on mute and stay in the background.
Okay, let me see if that can be done. Please give me a minute. Give me a minute. Could you give me a minute? I'm trying to see if I can share what I have.
No problem.
Okay. I have to apologize for.
A quick note to all the other participants whilst Mentor Bolanle is pulling up her presentation. There should be a copy of the presentation on our platform, on the Mentee platform. So you can follow along there if you have any technical difficulties. Thank you. Mentor Bolanle, are you okay now?
Yes, I'm still trying to, I'm using my phone. Can you give me, just let me move to my system. I think my system is a much better device to work on. So I'm going to leave now and
No
join with
problem.
my system. Please, just 1 minute.
No problem.
Okay. Sorry, I'm now on my system. Mentor Albert, could you make me a co-host now so that I can share? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm making you a co-host now.
All right, beautiful.
You are co-host.
All right, okay. Right. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, please. We can see it.
Okay, beautiful. So, sorry. First and foremost,
I have to apologize for starting late. I actually thought I was going to have this presentation in Lagos, but last minute we changed plans and we had to come in today instead of tomorrow. So I'm just getting in. So please, I really want to apologize to all our participants for starting this presentation late. I hope you forgive me, please. Secondly, I'd like to thank the organizers of this particular event, African Leadership Group, of course. We're all here to learn, and also I'm also here to learn, even though I'm presenting. So let me just start ahead because we've actually been a bit delayed, unfortunately. So today's course is on civic awareness and civic responsibility. We're going to be looking at the foundations of citizenship and national identity. I know that we're all around last week where we had also basic knowledge on citizenship as well. And we're going to be delving into, this is just foundation of what we do. And subsequently, we're going to go into deep elements of civic awareness and civic responsibility. So feel free to ask questions, put it up on the chat if you have questions and comments. And I'm going to start right off. So welcome once again. I'm going to give a brief outline of what we have today. We're going to start with the introduction and then what is citizenship, types of citizenships in Nigeria. I heard we have some participants from Ghana. So we're going to just delve into some of it, looking at also the Ghanaian perspective. Then we're going to be looking at understanding national identity. The fifth element will be the key issues in citizenship and identity. Then we'll look at building a strong national identity and then active participation in the society before we conclude, and we will move to our discussions and tasks. So please join me. The first thing we're going to be looking at is the introduction. Now, what are we introducing? We're looking at Nigeria, and we all know that Nigeria is a diverse nation, full of different people, different ethnic groups, over 250 ethnic groups. Our population now, I'm sure we're looking at way beyond 250 million people. We're about to carry out a census, and I'm sure we're going to be looking at big numbers. Not only do we have a large population, and of course, you know, most of them are youth, but we also have different religions and cultural norms and values. We have rich mineral resources, as well as human resources. No one can take that away from Nigeria, definitely. But despite that, despite the numerous minerals and human resources, we have extreme poverty. And we have some areas of Nigeria that are actually conflict-stricken. You know, especially in the north, of course, we all know what's going on in the northeast section that has even spread to the northwest section. And we have some parts of southeast where we also have some conflict there. So Nigeria is really diverse. And the question is, with such diversity, can you imagine people just doing whatever they want, however they want, you know? Imagine the chaos that would come out of that. And that is the same thing in different countries. If we don't have something binding us, we just be living in chaos. And so that's why we need a national identity. And here I'm saying national identity is looking at the cultural, historical, and social elements within a nation. And why do we have to look at that? Because when we when we look into these aspects of our nation, we're able to It will help us unify the country, the different ethnic groups, different people, despite the differences. We'll find out that there must be something unifying us, and that is what we refer to as the national identity. Now, of course, we understand what citizenship means. I know we looked at that last week, but here I'm saying that, well, what's the essence of citizenship? It gives us a role to play in our country. That is one of the things. It explains our rights and duties, the responsibilities for being a part of a nation, a country, whether it's Nigeria or it's Ghana or it's Kenya. You found out that being a citizen of a country has its rules, has its rights, and also has its duties. So we're going to be looking at that. Now, the next topic will be, who is a citizen? Now, my definition, looking at different definitions across when I was researching, and I just wanted it to be as simple as possible. And I would define a citizen as a person who is a member of a particular country or nation with certain rights, privileges, and responsibilities. So although we have some people that say they are stateless now, but really we all have to come from a particular country. And you need to look at what does it take to be a member of that particular country, you know? And this goes to our issue of what's the importance? Why should we bother being a citizen of a country? I know some people want to run away from some of their countries and say they want to take up citizenship in another country. The question is, why do they want to do that? What is the importance of being a citizen of a particular country? Now, the first thing is that it recognizes legal status. So legally, you have a status of a citizen, and you know you can be looked at from that as angle of the law. Whether, of course, you have the national laws, and then you have the international laws. A lot of times, when you're looking at international laws, they look at where you come from, what laws govern you. So recognizing the legal status of a person is one of the importance of being a citizen of a particular country. Another thing is access to rights and privileges. Why is access to rights and privileges important? Now, let me say it the other way around. What happens when you are not a citizen of any country, and it means you don't have rights or you don't have privileges? We have some people we call refugees, you know, and they find themselves in another country under certain conditions and find out that their rights and privileges are limited. And you can imagine how they feel or what they go through. They would feel as if they're on their own, you know, and really no one cares about them because they don't have any particular sense of belonging, let me put it that way. Because the third importance is that being a citizen of a country or a nation gives somebody sense of belonging. So imagine people that, you know, like I said, refugees that have moved from one country to another, and they would feel as if they're roaming through, you know, a long journey with no sense of belonging. They can't go back to where they came from, and they don't know where they're going to. So, but being a citizen of a country gives you a sense of belonging. You know where you're coming from, you know what your rights are, you know whether you want to live there or, you know, reside there for long and all that. So sense of belonging is also very particular for human beings. And that is one of the importance of citizenship. Now, the fourth element of citizenship is it allows you to participate in governance. You cannot be a citizen of Nigeria, for example, and then you decide that from Nigeria, where you live, you want to participate in the elections in Australia, for example. You know, there must be something linking you to Australia or something like that. You have to realize that. But in Nigeria, you should be able to participate in governance. You have the right to, participate during elections, whether you want to be voted for or whether you want to vote for somebody. You have the right to be appointed in any of the public sector opportunities that are there, whether at the state level, at the local level, or at the federal level. So participation in governance directly relates to citizenship. We're going to be talking about some of the examples. I remember a particular person that wanted to contest, and they had to look at the legal status of the person's citizenship, and they brought out issues. Oh, this person is not a true Nigerian. This person is a citizen of another country. This person is not, So those things can count when it comes to participating in governance, whether being elected or appointed, or whether you are even voting for someone during elections. Because you have people, oh, you can't vote because you are not a citizen of the country. We have cases that come up during election period. So one of the importance of citizenship, legal status, is that you have the right to participate in governance. Another importance is that it contributes to national development. You have the right to contribute to national development, whether it's the social aspect of development of the country, or the economic aspect, or even cultural aspect. All this comprise of national development. So as a citizen of the country, you must strive to participate and contribute your own quota to the development of the nation. And of course, the last one is that it promotes national unity. When a group of people can recognize themselves as citizens of the country, you all have a sense of belonging in that country, you all have rights and responsibilities, privileges in that country, then you will feel as if, oh, you are one, you are in the same boat, you are in the same situation. So these are some of the importance of citizenship. It's not exhaustive, and we will be looking at other areas coming from the participants of this lecture. Now, we have types of citizenship, okay? In Nigeria, we have the constitution that governs the types of citizenship in the country. And this is our 1999 constitution. I'm sure you're all aware of that. And we have the chapter 3 of the 1999 constitution that defines what the different types of citizenship we have, how people can be citizens of Nigeria. The first one is that you can be citizen by birth. This is under section 25 of the Constitution. And it says that, just basically saying that if you're born in Nigeria, or even if you're not born in Nigeria, if your parents or grandparents are born in Nigeria, you are a citizen of Nigeria. The second one is citizenship by registration. In this case, you can apply to register as a citizen of Nigeria. Let me give an example. A man that married a foreigner has the right to register, apply for citizenship for his foreigner wife. Okay, so this is an example of those that can register as citizens of Nigeria. The third, and it's covered by section 26 of the Constitution. The third type of citizenship in Nigeria is by naturalization. This is covered by section 27 and says that if you have stayed in Nigeria for a long time, over 20 years, and in fact, a year before your application, you have stayed there non-stop, and you are known to imbibe all Nigerian culture, values, and all that. You have put in your quota, despite the fact that you're a foreigner, but you want to be a Nigerian citizen. Now, this you can do by naturalization, and it's covered by Section 27. So these are different types of citizenship available in Nigeria. What I was looking at in Ghana is that, yes, the Ghanaian, we have the Citizenship Act 2000 of the Republic of Ghana that also spells out the types of citizenship for our Ghanaian participants. This is for you. So also in the Act, we have citizenship by birth, by registration, and by naturalization. But there's one additional type of citizenship, which I saw that was really good, which was citizenship by adoption. So we have where children that were not citizenship or were not citizens of a particular of Ghana can become citizens of Ghana if the parents that adopted them, their adopted parents, are also citizens of Ghana. I think that is also a very good element to add to the list of the types of citizenship. So citizenship by adoption is also available for children, foreign children in Ghana. Now, so that we've looked at the issue of citizenship. I'm just going to go through, like I said, briefly through all these questions, and then we're going to discuss a lot about what we're doing. Now, the next aspect is, what are the rights and duties of citizenship? I have here some of the rights, and of course, I'm going to ask that we also add some other rights here. I hope we're following. Hello, are we still there? Can we
yes, we are. We are following.
Okay,
Yes,
beautiful.
we are with you fully. We are following.
All right. So we have some rights of citizenship. What are the rights? I talked about the fact that one of the importance of being a citizen of a country is that you're entitled to some rights. So one thing you're entitled to is you're entitled to protection, safety, and security. Your country must be able to protect the members of the country. So as a citizen, you are entitled to safety and security. Of course, this is where, especially in Nigeria, a lot of people have said, is government providing this particular rights? Is government providing it? You know, are we safe in the country? Yes, a lot of times we have some safe spaces, but we also have some conflict-stricken areas in Nigeria. So we're going to be looking at whether government is actually providing some of the taking care of some of their responsibilities as government for the citizens. As a citizen, you're also entitled to basic services, okay? Basic services. Your welfare is supposed to be very important to the country. So basic services like what? Healthcare, right? Education. You know, sometimes it's free, sometimes it's not, but the issue is you must have access to it. Access to good healthcare, quality healthcare, access to education, access to opportunity to have a roof over your head, shelter, and then, you know, some other basic services, water, sanitation. These are things you are entitled to as a citizen of the country. Another right you have is a right to participate in the democratic process or governance. Now, I put democratic process there because I have to say that it's not all countries that have what democratic processes, right? We know that even in Africa, especially recently. But the question is, as a citizen, whatever government that is in place, whether it's democratic or military or dictatorial, as a citizen, you have the right to participate in that government, in the governance of the country. You have the right to do that. Then, of course, one of the most important for me is the guaranteed fundamental human rights. Oh, so we have our fundamental human rights. I hope we know what that is. We have fundamental human rights like right to life. You don't want to kill another person, apart from the lawful execution under the law, maybe prescribed, ordered by court, maybe a court judgment, for, we have some cases where you have murder cases and you have judgment for maybe death by hanging and all that. Those are lawful judgments for killing another person. But outside that, no one has any right to kill another person. So you have everybody, every citizen has a right to life. Another one is a right to fair hearing. When you come to the courts, everybody must have the right to be heard. It's another fundamental human right. We have other fundamental human rights like right to dignity of life, meaning no inhuman treatment must be put against you. Right to not to be discriminated upon. So there's some fundamental human rights that are guaranteed to every citizen of a country. And so once you become a citizen of the country, within that nation, you have your fundamental human rights guaranteed. In Nigeria, we have the Constitution, Chapter 4, that provides for our fundamental human rights. So these are some of the rights you have as a citizen. Now, along with the rights you have as a citizen, you also have duties and responsibilities as a citizen. The first one is abide by the Constitution. The Constitution is what we call the grand norm. It is the highest law of the land, okay? And so everybody must understand the Constitution and must, accept what is in the Constitution and abide by what is in the Constitution. It's so bad that if there's anything that is against any law or act, even made by government, that is against the Constitution, that particular act or law will not be valid because the Constitution is most important in the country. Now, the second duty is that you have a duty as a citizen to enhance the good name of your country and defend the country. So we have some countries that maybe during war, they can insist that we have some people should join the military to defend the country. You also have services like NYSC, National Youth Corps Scheme, where they insist that graduates should serve the country for 1 year. Whatever it is, once you're a citizen of a country, you must defend that country. Now, another one is respect the dignity of others. You have to live in unity and harmony. I hope as I'm mentioning all these duties, you can relate to see whether you are actually complying with what we have in Nigeria, for example, and Ghana, for those that are in Ghana. Respect for the dignity of others is a duty for everyone. To live in unity and harmony. So those that, sorry, I'm seeing something about, can you hear me?
We can hear you fine, Mentor.
Okay, because I saw someone saying that they couldn't hear me well.
We can hear you, please go ahead.
All right, great. So you have to, as a citizen, you have to respect the dignity of others, live in unity and harmony. Another duty is that you must contribute positively to the advancement and well-being of the community within which you are living. So you don't have any right to stop a
Opeoluwa,
or
please mute yourself. Taiwo, go ahead.
or yes, please. So you don't have any right to destroy a community by going there to cause trouble and all that. We must be looking at progress and well-being of our communities, most especially obey and maintain law and order. Of course, if you have the of course, we all know the laws, and we all say ignorance of the law is not an excuse in law. So you must understand that there are laws within a country which you must abide by, all right? And if you do not abide by it, you have the misfortune to be prosecuted in court for those that disobey the law. So we must, as citizens of the country, obey and maintain law and order. And of course, one that is very controversial is that as a citizen of a country, you must declare the income, your income, and you must pay tax. We know why we have to pay tax, so that government can develop the country. Is that what is going on now? Can we say that is what is going on now? So, but in a very good situation, this is what you need to understand, that you have your rights as a citizen, that you can actually get government to perform. You can insist that government must give you these rights. And that is why a lot of activists, go and harass government when they feel that government is not doing well. They go on protests. They even sue government when they feel that government has not been able to deliver on the rights of the citizen. But as well, you have duties that come with these rights. And like I said, in Nigeria, these things are covered by our 1999 Constitution. We need to understand that the beauty is the Constitution comes, soft copy, you can download it online. It now comes like a pocket book. I don't have one with me. I'd have shown you now, maybe before the end of the presentation. A pocket book, and it's really handy. So the words are legible and all that. I would advise that everyone should have one. As an adult in Nigeria, just buy a copy of the Constitution and keep. You never can tell when you would require information inside. As a lawyer, of course, we all have constitutions in our library, but I keep one with me, the pocket book. I keep it with me all the time. It's very important and very easy to refer to, especially when we have so many controversial issues coming up all the time in Nigeria. So it's always good to have one handy. So I encourage everyone to please get a copy of the Constitution. Now, we've talked about citizenship. I'm going to ask some questions later, but let's move on to national identity. I mentioned the fact that national identity is about understanding our cultural background, historical background, social background, and still coming up with a joint identity, an identity that we can all relate with, okay? Now, some of the things that would constitute as part of our national identity is the fact that in Nigeria, we have a single constitution. And I know that the same is in Ghana. We have a single constitution. We also have shared symbols like national anthem, national flag, national pledge, and our currency, Naira and Kobo. All these things we do as citizens of Nigeria. And I know that the same goes for citizens of Ghana. We have Ghanaian CD, and they also have national anthem, national flag. I'm not sure about the national flag, but they have shared symbols that as a citizen of Nigeria, yeah, when we see our green and white flag, we know that, oh, this is Nigeria. When we see our when we sing our national anthem or we bring out our 1,000 naira notes, we know that this is about Nigeria, and it's an identity we fit into because it tells us that this is Nigeria. Now, another thing about national identity is that we're supposed, not only do we have shared symbols, which are symbols that we all relate with, but we're supposed to have common values, you know. And there's a reason why I put that question mark there, because to have a national identity, you're supposed to have, you know, shared values, common values. Nigeria, despite the fact that we have over 250 ethnic groups, have we been able to create a common value system for Nigeria? This is a question I want us to answer on our chat group. What do you believe? And please, let's just that will take just about 1 minute. Just put up on the chat book what you believe should be or is the common value to depict Nigerian national identity. What common values do we have? Just tell me one on the chat group. What common value do you think we have as Nigerians to be able to identify as our national identity? Can we put that up on the, this is an assignment for the participants, please. So I'll give you 1 minute. Okay. Ekara E. Sunday says that the Constitution is like the Holy Scripture, Bible and Quran for the citizens of every country. It is the ground norm. I have read it from cover to cover, but that does not guarantee perfection. One must always be a student of Constitution. Yes. Thank you, Mentor Albert. What is the single common value we have as Nigerians? What can you say we are meant to have as a national identity? Whether we have it is a different thing, but do we have common values as Nigerians? Can you put that up quickly? I want to read out. National anthem. National anthem, Mr. Ekara, is more of part of the shared symbol. It's a symbol of national identity, but it not about the values. But you can look at the words in the national anthem. I think we have some values in the national anthem which we're supposed to pick out as our shared values. Okwaluwa Taiwo says that common value we have is tolerance. Okay, we're supposed to have tolerance as Nigerians. Mr. Ekara says unity in diversity. Yeah, so unity is a common value we're meant to have as Nigerians. Blessed Ola Saint says Black heritage and culture. Now, is that common to Nigeria? Black heritage and culture. We have different cultures. What part of the culture, Black heritage and culture, can be said to be common across all Nigerians in the city, in Nigeria, not even in Nigeria, even outside Nigeria, because we have different cultures. Unity in diversity is a good one. I like that. Tolerance. Hey, we have to have tolerance, so otherwise we would have finished killing each other. So although some people don't have that now. Hospitality, Mr. Oseni, no few Kayode. Hospitality. We're supposed to be hospitable, especially to fellow Nigerians, right? And I think that we have that a lot when, not just in Nigeria, but even outside Nigeria, because when we meet other Nigerians in other countries, you will see the way we greet and all that. There's so much passion and love, you know. Brotherhood, yes. Samsung, sorry, I don't have your name there, but we have brotherhood, you know, sisterhood in core. But yes, we have brotherhood, you know. There's this sense of we're from the same family in Nigeria. So we can say that we do have some common values, right? That cuts across our culture, that cuts across religion, that cuts across, you know, ethnic groups. Unity is there, tolerance, hospitality, cultural heritage. Yes, yes, because we need to value our cultural heritage. That's what Mr. I believe who mentioned cultural heritage the other time. Yeah, I agree with you. Blessed Ola Saint, yes, did that. Respect each other's rights, yes. So you can see that we're meant to have some common values. And I know that the National Orientation Agency has been trying to do a lot to project the values of Nigeria. Respect for elders, yes. But I heard some cultures, they don't even have respect like that for elders. But or should I say it is more pronounced in some culture, in some ethnic groups than in other ethnic groups. But respect for others is also a very important value in Nigeria. And I hope other Gen Z is on ground because with social media, can we say that we have that? Because sometimes social media, you don't know who is talking, you don't know who is elder, you don't know who is younger. Everybody's just saying whatever they want to say. So the question is, these common values, are they still existing in Nigeria? Do we believe they still exist in Nigeria? Cultural barriers. Mr. Ahmad Mohammed Issa, is it a value? What do you think it's a value that all Nigerians should have? Or are you looking at cultural tolerance? Because barriers means there's a like a wall, there's a fence, there's something preventing cultures. Okay, I will say we still respect the others on social media, yes. Okay, so cultural tolerance is what you're talking about, Mr. Hamad. Thank you very much. So we have cultural tolerance. Yes, I agree with you. So thank you so much for contributing to this particular exercise. And we move on, but we understand that as Nigerians, we must agree on the values that unite us, you know, and we must try to ensure that we as citizens understand that and, you know, respect those values. So we'll move to the next aspect. Now, key issues in citizenship and national identity. I'm saying this now because the truth is, as citizens in Nigeria, and of course, whenever I mention Nigeria, please, our Ghanaian participants should also think about the issues in Ghana. Maybe you can share with us. Now, the issues in Nigeria as citizens of Nigeria and this issue of national identity, are we actually united? Does it give us unity of or the brotherhood that was mentioned? Now, I've identified some, and we're going to be talking about it. I'll just have some key comments from participants. Now, one of the issues about citizenship and national identity is this ethnicity or tribalism. Now, I'm from a Yoruba speaking side. I'm from the southwest of Nigeria. And I hear some people talk about the fact that sometimes they say, I'm first and foremost a Yoruba man, then I'm now in Nigeria. Or they'll say, you have to know where you are, where you come from. First and foremost, you have to know where your father, your grandfather, you must know your background before you think about Nigeria as a whole. Your loyalty should be to your tribe. That I'm just talking about some of the issues that I hear people talk about. You know, your loyalty should be to your tribe. You must take care of people from your tribe first before you think of Nigeria as a whole. Some people, architecture should be restructured, you know. Can you still hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Oh, beautiful. So what do you think about ethnicity and tribalism? Do you think it promotes national identity or it enhances the importance of citizenship in Nigeria? Or do we say that people are more should be more patriotic to their community or their state of origin in this case, or their region before they think about Nigeria as a whole? These are key issues that are being discussed right now in the Nigerian society because of things that have come up and happened. So we're going to be looking at some of the issues there. Another one is, of course, religious bias. Nigeria has 3 major religions. We have, of course, the Christian religion, Christianity. We have Islam for the Muslims, and then we try and put every other cultural religion as traditional religion, you know, despite the fact that each culture or each ethnic group has its own traditional religion, but we've classified everybody together as traditional religion. So now the question is, which takes precedence? Does being a Christian or a Muslim or a traditionalist take precedence over being a Nigerian citizen? Or are you supposed to be more patriotic as a Nigerian? Or are you supposed to look at issues based on the fact of which religion you come from or not? You know, these are things that I have a group where some people were like, no, this man is a Christian, you have to vote for him. Is the person competent or not? They say, that's not the issue. Is it the person's turn? Should it be zoned, you know, to Christian or Muslim or Christian tickets? These are conversations we keep having as Nigerians. Now, the question is, do these promote national identity? So one other thing we have is lack of civic education. Lack of civic education. The question is, and that's why it's important we're having this kind of discussion or presentation. The question is, do Nigerian citizens have the information? Do they even know what their rights are? Do they know what their duties are? I'm saying this because I work with women and children's rights. That's what I'm doing currently as a member of the International Federation of Women Lawyers. And one of the things we have to keep telling women that have suffered forms of discrimination or violence is we have to let them know their rights. We also have to let them, even parents, understand that children actually have rights. Parents don't believe children have rights, you know, but they actually do have rights under the law. Because they are citizens of the country and they are protected by the same constitution that protects, and the same constitution and laws that protect adults, you know, but a lot of people don't know that. So the question is, this lack of civic education is not complete ignorance. Some people that even are aware refuse to admit that these rights are there or the duties are there. Or you have people that even say, why should I pay tax? Government has not tarred my road before, they don't provide water, they don't provide electricity, they don't. The question is, why should I pay tax? But it's a responsibility as a citizen of the country. So these are some of the issues that come to being, whether being a citizen of Nigeria allows us to understand the identity that we need to, the national identity we need, and how our thoughts, how our perceptions affect our role as citizens. Of course, that's lack of civic education. We need to educate people every day, daily, about what rights are, what their duties are. These are all provided under the law. And then we now have another issue that comes up all the time in Nigeria: federal character. You hear it. I hope you understand what that means. Federal character, federal character. Actually, to promote unity in the country, the Constitution provides that positions, federal positions, state positions, local positions, or employment, whether as in politics or in the civil service, must take into consideration every region, every state, every religion, and all that, in such a way that you balance the membership of people in the civil service, and you balance membership of people even in politics. This is what we call federal character. So, for example, if the police wants to recruit new policemen and women into the service, they must make sure that when they advertise, they're advertising for everyone. And when they are selecting, they must make sure that every region is properly represented. The same thing with politics. So you know that one of the criticism the past government, federal government, was going through, and even this new government, was that the political appointments tend to be skewed towards certain regions. And how can you do it in such a way that all the regions are properly represented? So the question is, as a citizen of Nigeria, would you feel that your rights are being protected when it comes to ethnicity or tribalism, religious bias, lack of civic education? Like I said, this is more about educating more people on what Nigeria is supposed to do for them and what they are supposed to do for Nigeria. And people will say, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. But the question is, your country actually has responsibility to protect you as well. So it's a two-way thing, it's a two-way relationship. So as a citizen of Nigeria, to promote national identity, which of these issues do you think affect us the most? Can you just mention one that you feel affect us the most? Is it this tribalism or ethnicity thing is pulling us down, or is it supporting national identity? This religious bias, is it supporting national identity or is tearing us apart? Does it help us in unifying the country? Lack of civic education, like I said, are we educated enough to understand our roles in the country as citizens of this country, and what we should do or what the country should do for us? And of course, federal character in terms of politics and employment, governance generally. Is the system in Nigeria enough for us to all regions to be properly represented in this entity we call Nigeria. Which of these key issues do we feel is very, very critical for us to have a national identity? So quickly, can you put that on the chat group out of the 4? Or if you have any other that was not included here, please, you can also put that you feel is an issue that affects us as citizens and our national identity as Nigerians. Can you read that in 1 minute? Okay, Asabe says religion is really affecting us. So for you, religion is a key issue that affects our national identity. Okwaluwa says ethnicity and tribalism is a major problem in Nigeria today. Okay, so for you, ethnicity and tribalism is a major issue. Who else has anything? Do we have any other major issue outside these 4 key areas I have pointed out? Anybody? Okay, Samsung, maybe the next time you could you put your name so that I won't refer you as Samsung SM. Ethnic patriotism and supremacy. Could you expatiate on what you mean by supremacy? Briska Solomon says religion is a major issue affecting us. Ekara Sunday says religion, ethnicity is a major problem in Nigeria. Olusanjo Fagbongwe says, yes, insecurity is a major issue affecting us in Nigeria. So I want to go back to the person that talked about ethnic patriotism and supremacy. We need to expatiate on that. That is from Samsung. Mentor Albert, can we allow Samsung SM to speak to us briefly? Let's see what he has to say about his choice of words.
Doesn't that look like a face?
Samsung SM, please identify your name.
Yes.
Identify your real name in the chat box so that we know who we're addressing.
Yes, I agree. I hope you can hear us. Because he has brought out a
Millicent.
Who?
Ahupa. Millicent. Please, next time, please rename your login name as your registered name for this program. It will make life a lot easier for everybody. So, Millicent, please respond to Mentor Bolanle. Ethnic supremacy, when people feel their culture, values, and ethos are superior to others.
As superior to others. Okay. All right. So that is still talking about the fact that people believe that their own ethnicity is more important than other people. So it's not giving us the room for tolerance, which, remember, we said should be one of the common values of Nigeria. All right, thank you so much for participating in that aspect. Let's go back to our presentation. So we at least we know that these are the issues that we talk about every day. We get involved and we see people talk. In fact, sometimes the discussions are so passionate. You really wonder how we're going to solve the issue of bringing everybody together in unity. Remember, unity is one of the key aspects of national identity, bringing people together despite their differences. So thank you so much for being involved in that. Now, the question is how? How? We have all the differences. We looked at the issues that affect us. How can we build a strong national identity? How can we, as citizens of Nigeria, be involved in building a strong national identity? The first thing I have here is inclusive policies. Government at whatever level. You know, I hope we all know we have 3 levels of government. We have the local government, we have the state government, and we have the federal government. Now, at whatever level, government must provide. And when we say government, remember, government is made up of what? Who? Citizens of Nigeria. They're the ones that make up the government. So we shouldn't look at government as a separate entity from ourselves. At any point in time, any of us might be government officials that have the opportunity to make policies and decisions on behalf of the country, or we might be, opportune to be related to any of the government officials. The question is, government is made up of citizens of the country. And so what we're saying is that how can we as citizens actually build a strong national identity? Because without that, we're just going to be tearing ourselves apart every day. So my first one is government, of course, represented by citizens of the country, must provide inclusive policies. Inclusive policies. So when we're creating policies that affect citizens of the country, we must look at the fact that no matter which ethnic group you are from, you have the opportunity to be part of the policies. No matter the religion you have the opportunity, or you hold, the religion you hold, you have the opportunity to be involved. So you shouldn't have policies that separate the children of the rich from the children of the poor, or separate the Christians from the Muslims, or separate the northeast from the south. You must have policies that provide inclusivity for everyone. And that is what we must try to abide with. All citizens that have the opportunity to be in government. Another way we can build a strong national identity is to make sure there's civic education for all of us. And we say for all, in fact, the all should be in capital letters here. Why? Because people must constantly understand their rights and their responsibilities. Like I said, there are certain rights you have as citizens of the country that the country must do for you. And there are certain responsibilities or duties you must put in, you must play for the country as your own role to ensure that the country does well. Socio-economic development, national development of the country must come from you as a citizen of the country. So government must ensure, and not just government, like I said, citizens must ensure when you have the opportunity. I mean, you can see that the Africa Leadership Group has come up with this program to educate people more. Now, I'm sure we have a cross-section of people. We have people from different religions here. I can see names. People from different backgrounds, people from different ethnic groups. But everybody is getting the same information. And that is what we must continue to project. That is what we must continue to promote. That everybody, no matter where you come from, which religion you belong to, or what profession you do, or your wealth status, you must know your rights and duties. So well done, African Leadership Group, for this particular program. We're trying to build a strong identity for Nigeria. And of course, I always say our Ghanaian participants, I don't leave you out. You can see we're just making sure that everyone understands what it means to be good citizens of a country. Another element we must look at is how we can have inter-ethnic dialogue. Let's not shy away from the fact that we come from different ethnic backgrounds. We have different cultural values. We do things differently. How we name our children, naming ceremony, how we get married, traditional marriage ceremonies, how we, dress, how we eat, the food we eat. We have different cultural backgrounds. But we need to tolerate each other's cultural background, respect each other's cultural background. How can we do this? By having inter-ethnic dialogue, not just once a year, once in 10 years, because I know that we have a forum for Muslims and Christians that come together, and I can't remember the name now, but I know that they have a forum of inter-religious dialogue forum. We must ensure that we also have inter-ethnic dialogue forums where we continue to promote respect, tolerance, and unity of cultures in Nigeria. So also the inter-religious dialogue. I know we have the Khan and the Muslim Imam. They all usually come together to talk about key issues. We must continue to ensure that this dialogue is not just happening at the top, but it comes way down to the bottom of the pyramid, where that people will understand that you don't have to, hate each other for being in different religions, but you can tolerate each other, you can work with each other, you can, enjoy each other's company in one country without having issues. Of course, we know the problem of Boko Haram in the Northeast. And not just Boko Haram in the Northeast. This little conflict that has come up in Plateau, in Kaduna, in Benue, where you have different people from different cultures or religious groups killing themselves. We must encourage continuous religious dialogue, continuous inter-ethnic dialogue to foster peace within the citizens of Nigeria. And of course, one of the most important, and for me, this is one aspect, is a critical issue, really. I should have put it as one of the critical issues affecting us in Nigeria today. Leadership accountability. Can someone explain to me, put up in your chat, what do you understand by leadership accountability? Quickly, just put up in the chat what you understand by leadership accountability. Because for me, I think that is the most critical issue that we are facing, not just as Nigerians, but as Africans today. And an issue that affects our role as citizens of the country, and of course, across Africa, as Africans themselves. What do you, please just put it up on the chat box. What do you understand by leadership accountability? Who's going to be the first? We mentor, but we need to encourage those that quickly respond to questions. So let's look at how we can we can do that, even if it's to support them with small data. We should encourage
That's
people
right.
to
That's right. The first responders, you're getting an offer for data allowance there. So it's up to you.
Yes, please. Yeah. So
Unless,
what do
of
you
course, you
understand by
are amongst
leadership
the 1%.
Um,
Please go ahead, Mentor Bolanle. Sorry.
anybody? Okay. So there's no one. Yeah, I need someone to explain to me what they understand. Okay, Jeffrey Mohammed. See, I'm clapping. I hope you can hear that. Leadership accountability is when a leader keeps all his activities on check. It is through that leaders will work according to the rules. Okay, thank you so much. So who else has anything to say? But Jibril Mohammed is definitely getting a gift for that. Who has anything, any other thing to say before I move on? Leadership accountability. Jibril believes that it's when a leader keeps all his activities in check. It is through that leaders will work according to the rules. So, any other person? If not, I move on. Okay. Okay, you're welcome. If not, we move on to, okay. So, leadership accountability really is when a leader understands that they are leading to serve rather than leading to head, They are serving the citizens of a country. And because they are serving the citizens of a country, they are accountable to report their activities, their achievements, their policies to the citizens. We call it they are accountable to the citizens. So, and then guess what? The citizens have a right to call them to order. So it's a two-way thing. The leaders know that they are accountable to give a report on their activities, their policies, their finances, on what they have been brought on board to lead, while the citizens themselves have the right to call the leaders to call the leaders to what's that word? I'm looking for a particular word. You check them, okay? You call them to order where you feel that they haven't done well. You call them to order when you feel they haven't done well. So the leaders are accountable to the citizens, but the citizens also have a responsibility or right to call the leaders to order. And that is why democracy is more about leadership accountability. Where the leaders do well, they are, of course, voted into power. But when they do not do well, they are what? Voted out of power. That is one major strength that citizens of a country have. The fact that leaders of a country are accountable to their citizens. So it is, and once this happens, it would give people more confidence in a system that has been created in the country, where they feel that the leadership are not being, they are making policies that are not inclusive. They call them to order. When they believe that they are not providing for the welfare of the citizens, they call them to order. That is what we call leadership accountability. All right. So there are different ways of calling a leader to order in a country. But it is important for you people must have confidence in the system. Okay. And with that, it will build strong national identity. If you look at countries where the leaders are accountable to the people, you find out that their national identity is very strong. They are very proud of being citizens of that country because they know the citizens will take care, the country will take care of them, no matter where they are, in whatever country, whatever part of the world, they will be regarded as citizens of their country, and the country will take care of them, because their leaders are accountable to the citizens. So it's very important, and that is one of the strongest ways. One thing we say in Nigeria is a rule of law. We'll talk about rule of law in another presentation. But the issue is that where people feel that there is one law for leaders and there's another law for the citizens, then it can cause a lot of problems. When people feel that their leaders can get away with stealing or having financial misappropriation of funds to the extent of billions and even trillions of dollars. And then some people feel that a young boy that stole a goat is sentenced to 3 years, 4 years in prison. And then someone that had serious financial misappropriation of funds, it's all terminologies, is still stealing. Is only entitled to maybe a few months in jail. We must ensure that people feel that the laws available apply to everyone and leaders are accountable. And when they do not perform properly, perform well, they are sanctioned or disciplined. Okay, so that is leadership accountability. With that, definitely people will feel happy. I know that there's some countries in Asia where if their leader is suspected of committing any fraud or financial misappropriation, the sentences that they give them when they are prosecuted, it is very, very scary. And it prevents corruption in their system. Okay, it might seem as if it's harsh, but their own is the value in a corruption-free system, and they work towards it. So we must look at what really matters to us and how we can ensure that our leaders are accountable to the citizens of the country. All right? Okay, so our next is active participation in the society. Why must we participate in this society? Why? Why can't we all just sit down in our homes comfortably, or we go to our churches or mosque and we pray for a good country without taking any step or participating in anything that because we're just fed up with how the country is going? No, we cannot do that. It's important for us to participate in the society, because this is how this is crucial for the development of a strong, fair, just and accountable society. We're talking about accountability again. How can we get our leaders to be accountable if we're not interested in what goes on in the society? How can we have a fair and just system if we are not interested in what goes on in the society? And how can we develop our society into a strong society or a strong country if we do not participate? If we leave it for just a few people, we cannot have. We might have a society, but it will not be strong, fair, and just. Neither will it be one that is accountable to the citizens. So our active participation must ensure that we need to develop our country. And what are the benefits? We talked about it promotes good governance. Active participation keeps our leaders on their toes. When they do well, we give them, we clap for them, give them a round of applause. We appreciate them. We give them awards and things like that. But when they do not do well, we castigate them and we let them know why we believe they did not do well. And we allow them to ensure that, they strive for good governance. So it's very important that we participate. I always say that. A lot of people to talk about politics is a dirty game, so we cannot be involved. My dear, if you're not involved in politics, you will not get the right people into politics. And the politicians are the ones that dictate what happens to you and I. They dictate what happens to our children. They dictate which schools are available. They dictate our health. So the decisions they make affect us completely. So let's strive to ensure that we have good people there. So we must get involved. Another benefit is it strengthens democracy. Of course, when you have different people from different backgrounds giving their own different opinions, you find out that people are involved. People feel they are part of the system. And we know what democracy is, you know. We must ensure that we protect our democracy by not allowing just a few. I know it's not easy, but we can't allow a few people to push us into the wrong, should I say push us into a canal? We must get involved to check their work, to check what they are doing, to let them know. And that will strengthen our democracy because we have more ideas, we have more people involved. Now, it also encourages development. Of course, I've said it, people will strive to do things better. Once they find out that, their constituencies knocking on the door, if they don't perform, they will be removed. It encourages development. We must participate. Those that know must tell us how they know it, must get involved to do it well. And those that don't even know must find out how they can know things better for their own development. When everybody is able to contribute to discussions that affect the society, it will help to bring development in that society. Now, it enhances social cohesion. Of course, it means work together, people working together for the development of the society, you know, different backgrounds and all that. It does enhance social cohesion. It improves transparency and accountability. We cannot say that enough about transparency. People know what's going on. And then accountability, leaders are accountable to whatever they do. Now, it builds civic skills and awareness, like what we're doing now. We must know what our rights and duties and how we can improve and contribute to the development of the country. And of course, it promotes justice and equality. When we make noise, no matter what, even if it's on social media, I'm not saying you shouldn't criticize, but please let the criticism be supported by positive suggestions on how to move forward. So promoting justice and equality, we find out that everybody will sit up and subject themselves to the laws. Not that some people are entitled to one kind of law and another set of people, another kind of law. We must ensure that justice and equality within our country is protected. And it can only be done when we all participate in the society. So in conclusion, citizenship comes with rights and responsibilities. We mentioned that. We must know our rights, that we are entitled to as citizens. We must even know whether we're a citizen of the country or not. Some people are in some other countries, not their birth countries, and they might not feel they are citizens of their resident countries. You must know your status. Where do you belong? So just because you are living in a country doesn't make you a citizen of that country. It doesn't. So it doesn't guarantee that the fact that you are staying in a country, you will be entitled to some rights of that country. We all know what's going on in the United States of America right now. Despite the fact that you've been lived there for years, or you are a student of that that country, it doesn't give you the rights to be a citizen of that country. So you must know which country you are a citizen of, and then understand the rights the country has for you. Because the rights of the country in Nigeria might be different from the rights of the country in Russia, or the rights of a country in China, or the rights of the country in Canada. Different countries have different rights. So know the country you're a citizen of, and then understand the rights that are there. Of course, with the rights, like I said, comes responsibility. So you must know your own duty, even though you don't live in your country of citizenship. Even though you don't live there, you're still entitled to rights and responsibilities. So it's very important to know that. Then having national identity can unite us beyond ethnicity and religion. And of course, the other factors that we mentioned. But of course, we identified ethnicity and religion as major factors. Cultural factor is also there. But if we're able to come up with a national identity with national common values that we have, then it unites us beyond ethnicity and religion. Now, every Nigeria has a role to play. Every citizen has a role to play. So once you are a citizen, you have a role to play in ensuring that there's a national identity for the country, and also ensuring your rights and responsibilities are protected at all times. All right. So thank you so much for that. We're going to have a discussion and task session. Mr. Albert, I hope I'm within time. Hello? Can you hear me?
Within time. Yes, within time.
Okay.
We started a little late, so
Yes,
you have
yes.
about 10 minutes for questions and answers, and then everything else will go in the Model 2 group for homework and reviews.
Okay. So let me give out these questions, and then I'll now ask for questions. Or should we go to question and answers first?
I think
What would
question
you
and
suggest?
answers first.
I think I know exactly.
Okay. So let's go into our discussion. Oh, I just saw that we had some people that talked about leadership and accountability, but we have our Jibrin, our winner. Let's see. Okay, Opoluwa Taiwo says, leadership accountability means responding to questioning and proper policy communication. Thank you so much. Olusanjo Fabonbe says, leadership accountability involves the ability of citizens to change those not leading well. Nice. Ahmad Mohammed Issa says, leadership accountability is when a leader can defend their leadership. Yes, I agree. Asabe Adamu says, leadership accountability is the concept where leaders are held for responsible for their actions, okay? I guess you want to say leaders are held responsible for their actions. Abubakar Abdul Malik says, leadership accountability is holding those in the position of leadership responsible for their decisions. Yes, I agree with you. Bashirat Hassan says you have to leave now. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. So far, you can always look at the other once we finish, and then you can have access to it when you're done. So questions now. So can you put up questions in respect of what we have learned today? We have citizenship, we have national identity.
Before the sun fully goes down.
Please use the reactions to raise the hand so that we can allow you to speak. Or
And we have how our society. So, questions or comments?
With trains,
You can also write your questions in the chat box and we can read them. So please, let's move quickly. Or maybe you go down the call list, the attendance list, Mentor Bolanle, to save time.
Yes, please raise your hand.
And we have one more
Pardon?
station.
Let's go down the call list, the attendance list.
Okay,
That way may save time.
that will
So,
save time.
yes, I think so.
Hey, you on the roof.
Olu, okay, yes, go ahead. Olu Sanjo, your hand is up. Go ahead, please.
Station. Look, we
Maybe
even
you
have
don't
Unmute
speak
and ask
not.
your question.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, ma. My question is on this. In a situation where the leadership of a country believes that those who are foreigners are entitled to become citizens of a country, whether they are good or they are bad, and it has proven that they are bad, in what way can that promote national unity? That is my question, ma.
Okay. So you're looking
Do I
at
repeat myself? Or did you get me, ma? Did you get me?
let me get it right. The foreigners of a country.
I said in a situation whereby the leadership of a country encourages uncontrolled influx of foreigners into a nation, and these foreigners have proven to be detrimental to the peace and well-being of the bona fide citizens of such a country. In what way can that promote national unity? And if we look at what Donald Trump is doing in America, which I think for the first time I can applaud him when he's removing those who are illegal and who have questionable background. But in Nigeria, the leadership believes that a certain group from all over West Africa should come and take over residence in Nigeria. I have video clips supporting that by serving governors of Nigeria who believe that, yes, Nigeria is home to a certain group. And that is it. They've been, been identified as behind all the killings going on. Now, in what way do we have national identity here or unity?
I think I understand what your question is now. So there are two things. The issue is whether a country should actually promote influx of foreigners into a country without curtailing or cautioning their influx. That's the first thing. This comes under the issue of immigration, right? Whether, because we talked about the fact that citizens of a country are those that are rightly regarded legal. You have a legal status. I mentioned the fact that citizens of the country have a legal status in that country. So whether you reside in that country or you don't reside in the country, the issue is whether you are regarded as a citizen of the country. If you do not have that legal status of being a citizen, we talked about how you can be a citizen, by birth, by registration, by naturalization. If you don't fall within that bracket, the issue is you are not a citizen, you are a foreigner, no matter how long you stay in that country. So the question is, why do our governments support, your question, support influx of foreigners into the country? Even sometimes we know that they illegally into the country to cause chaos to the country. Well,
Thank you. Thank you.
yes, I summarized that, right? So for me,
Yes,
what
yes,
I would
thank
say
you.
is that
Yes.
the country has clear laws on immigration. What it does to permit, we have boundaries, and how foreigners are supposed to come into the country legally, and how foreigners are supposed to act when they come into the country legally. If you see the Immigration Act of Nigeria, you find out that there are certain rules for foreigners coming into the country. So, because every country must distinguish who are its citizens and who are the foreigners, like I said. So, there are certain immigration rules. There's the Immigration Act that clearly states the ways foreigners must enter the country and what they must do to enter the country. And if you notice, foreigners that are not from a particular, maybe foreigners that are not from from Nigeria, usually go through this procedure, you know, and they have to get what we call residence permits and workers permits and things like that. That is the normal immigration policy in Nigeria. Now, the question is, why is it that it appears that some people, despite the fact that they are known as foreigners, why do they have access into Nigeria unhindered and cause problems for the citizens, especially in terms of security? It's a big question. It's a big question. Now, one thing I know that is still being discussed at this stage is the issue of the need for, you know about the ECOWAS, ECOWAS now, the body that guides
Economic Community of African States.
African countries.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yes.
African
We know
states. They are trying to get people to come together along, within the West African states to have ease of movement. And I know it's an ongoing discussion of allowing those citizens within the ECOWAS states to have free entry and exit into all the ECOWAS countries. It's still being debated upon, because the idea is just to support and promote trade and relations, and not to promote insecurity or export insecurity from one place or the other. So there's a need to balance the fact that some people come in and out of the ECOWAS states, because the insecurity issue is not just in Nigeria. If you've noticed and followed the trend, it is across a particular region in the ECOWAS belt. And they are looking at what to do. I also agree that a country as Nigeria, knowing that we have security challenges, should actually come up with their own internal policies that will meet and fix the security challenges that we have, even within the ECOWAS region, and trying to follow and abide the ECOWAS policies that we have, which is promoting movement of ECOWAS citizens or in and out of the countries. So they have to look at a way to balance the fact that they are trying to promote relationship and trade, but also finding a way to prevent insecurity and export and import of this insecurity that has cost Nigerians so much. So it is a serious policy that is not just within Nigeria, but is along that region I was talking about. But I still feel that Nigerians should actually come up with policies that clearly the first priority, responsibility of a country is to protect its own citizens And it's all citizens, really. The security and safety of his own citizens come first. It's paramount to all others. So I think it's something that government should actually do more. We're not saying they shouldn't come, but let them come in legally and follow the immigration laws that have been put in place for all foreigners of the country. Once they're identified as foreigners, whether they are coming by foot or by air or by road or by sea, they are foreigners, and they should go through the laws that have already been put in place. So we will just continue to, push for government to do the right thing, So for me, that is what we can do. But I know that it's an ongoing discussion. If you look at European Union, also trying to ensure that, in the EU, you have their citizens moving in and out, but they have records and data of all the citizens coming in and out of their countries. So we need to put measures in place to ensure that. So it's not acceptable that, for me, that's my opinion, that insecurity has affected us badly. And some of the reasons they put in place is that we're trying to make sure that we follow ECOWAS rules. No, if ECOWAS rules is not in our favor, we must come up with rules that protect the safety of our citizens. So that is my own comment on that. Mr. Alusonja, I'm not government too, but
Thank you very much, ma.
that I will
Thank you.
participate in the discussions that have to do. We have laws and rules for foreigners. So it should apply across board.
Exactly.
That's my own opinion. I don't know if anybody else has any other opinion. So we have some people here.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Okay. Okay, we have a question here. My question is from Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Issa. How can we resolve the issue of ethnocentrism even after acquiring the citizenship of that particular country? Because you find out that even acquiring the citizenship, the people still attack those people and tag them as non-citizens, which is why we talk about national identity. Citizenship is one aspect. Now, national identity is another aspect. Now, like I said, you can have citizenship through different ways, but people have to be educated on the different ways people can be citizens of a country. So it's not only by birth. It's not just because you were born in a country that you are the only one that can be a citizen of that country. No, there are different other aspects of it. And that's why we need to educate our people the more. So when they now see others that are citizens not by birth, but either regulation or registration or naturalization or adoption in case of Ghana, they shouldn't have that negative feeling towards them. They shouldn't attack them, but it's more of ignorance and the need to educate our people on this civic education we're talking about. You understand me, Mr. Ahmed? We need to educate our people. Once they realize that, oh, you might be born here, I might not be born in this place, but I did my registration, my citizen registration in accordance with the Constitution. So I have as much rights as you have as a citizen that was born in the country. That's the truth. Naturalization is the same thing. Once you have your citizenship by naturalization, you are entitled to all the rights and duties and responsibilities and privileges that a citizen by birth is entitled to. That is why the conferment of citizenship is important. And we just need to educate people more on that, So that is why we do a lot of it is by ignorance. And then we talked about the national identity. We talked about tolerance. We talked about unity. We talked about, putting all the things that divide us away and finding those that unite us recognizing our differences and still being united. I love football during World Cup, because for me, the country is not using that enough. That is one shared value that we must tap into as a country, no matter what. During sports, whether it's the World Cup, Olympics, athletics federation, something, you can imagine the unity that comes from Nigerians during this period. So I feel that we should use that a lot and, get people together. We have our young people doing a lot in entertainment, Nollywood and Kanowood and all the other woods. We have to make sure that we look at what brings people together and emphasize on that and de-emphasize the differences. That is what national identity is all about. Okay, the entertainment industry is the fashion industry. I mean, those are advantages we must take. Those are things we must take advantage of and promote to ensure unity amongst our people. So please, education is for me the solution to your question, Mr. Ahmed. I hope that's clear. Is there any other question? I hope that answers our question. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm happy about that. All right. So I think we should, I think that will be okay. Our time is fast spent. Let's go to the tasks. So these are the questions you have to answer, please. And I believe that Mentor Albert would submit their answers to you, sir. Once they are done, I think we can give them a time frame. The first question, what does being a Nigerian mean to you? And for our Ghanaian participants, please, it will be, what does being a Ghanaian mean to you? And for those that are neither Ghanaians or Nigerians, but have their own country, what does being a citizen of that country mean to you? This is, please, just a short, very short summary. We don't want long essays. It's supposed to be very short. Just let us know briefly what being a Nigerian means to you. Is this something you're proud of? Or is this something you're not? Is this something you feel is challenging or problematic? Or is this something that you are so excited about? Okay. The second question is, share one word. Number 2, that describes the Nigerian identity. I think we had that too, another version of that while we were having the presentation. But here, what would you describe as the Nigerian identity? One word that best describes Nigerian identity. Okay? And then number 3, give one right you feel you should have as a Nigerian that you feel you do not have. Do you understand that? Give one right you feel you should have as a Nigerian, is one of the rights as a citizen of Nigeria that you feel you do not enjoy. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 is mention one duty you feel should not be compulsory for citizens. If you go through the duties that we've had, and of course there are more, you can check the constitution, check the laws. Every citizen has a duty. What do you feel that is a required duty by according to the law that you feel should not be compulsory for Nigerian citizens? Then number 5, what do you think is the biggest obstacle facing the Nigerian national identity? What do you think is the biggest obstacle facing the Nigerian national identity? If we have an identity, in your own opinion, what is the biggest challenge that is disturbing our Nigerian identity? Then number 6, if Nigerian men can get citizenship for their foreign wives. Remember, we talked about men getting citizenship for their wives through registration. Even, should Nigerian women, on the other hand, be allowed to get citizenship for their foreign husbands? I'd like to have your opinion on that. And then number 7, how can you be a better Nigerian citizen? What do you think you can do that you're not doing now, that you feel you should add to your role as a citizen of Nigeria? And then that ends our presentation for today. Thank you for participating. I enjoyed myself. Mr. Mentor Albert.
Yes, Mentor Bolanle, I'm still here. So this is how we're going to run this now. We have opened the module 2, and I've taken a screenshot of those who I can see that are present now. I will put those names and onboard those names onto module 2, and also onboard the link, the attendance and feedback form link in module 1, just in case some people had come in and had dropped off, etc., etc. Please, I encourage everybody who was on module 1 and who is present in module 2 to complete the attendance and feedback link in module 2. So these questions will be posted in module 2, and you should post your answers in module 2 chat subgroup. Thank you very much, Mentor Bolandi. Wonderful presentation as usual. Your usual passion came through it all. Thank you all very much for attending, and I will wish you a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.